my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say I am what I am.
I think that all is described by Alexander is a very clear example of what can happen here any day, because the equal marriage is just a beginning, and I have it's very recent impression. I'm here just for 4 months, but I think that it's like it perceived by LGBT, not activists, but by LGBT. I'm visiting the meetup group in Outhouse and with other people, LGBT people, and they like feel that that's it. We have the equal marriage. We're happy. We have Panty Bar and the George and so on. So what else? What else do you want? And this is a safe state. The police will protect you if something happens, and so on and so forth. So this is the idea of the safety is when you are particularly vulnerable and when you are particularly in danger, I think. That's what happened to Russia in '93, and that's what is happening now. But there is another very important thing I would like to say, that as a gay person, as a foreign agent in Russia, as a stateless person, I realized that my only diaspora is LGBT diaspora. My only nation is a queer nation. I don't have another nation in this world. And that's why I decided to fight not just for my own, but for all the LGBT asylum seekers who are now in the direct provisions across the island, completely lost. They don't know what to do, how to proceed, how to manage those sexualities. They forced to live closeted. And what Alexander said, that this is the idea of gay Europa, so-called in Russia, that it's, or gay Dorado, it's like the idea of that you're coming to Europe and then, this unicorns and gay happiness, LGBT happiness. But then they found themselves in a very closed, even sometimes macabre places where they don't know how to express those sexualities. We need to understand that the most of them are completely scared of the state as an idea, not of the Irish state. The refugees, the asylum seekers. They're afraid of the state, because state never helped them. State just caused troubles. Police, like a body of the state for them, They usually have some cultural understanding of the Islam. We had this moment, in the workshop organized by LGBT Ireland. There is a very explicit, articulated Islamophobia. We can manage to work with this, but at the same time, there are a lot of people from Muslim countries, and if a gay person is in the direct provision and he or she has this idea of Islam, we don't speak about if Islam is like a homophobic religion or not. We're speaking about the perception of the person who is in this closed, dangerous for them place. So they don't believe to the administration. They feel that they are completely surrendered by the enemies. there is no intimacy, so you can basically even have sex if you want, because there is no just toilets, I don't know. So, but it's like there is no right to the private life, there is no right to safety. And what could be the answers? Well, it's obviously it could be the very popular now in the wide world, in the countries of the category A, or the first world, or how do you want to call them? The securitization. Let's transform our lives in the Foucauldian panopticon. Let's put cameras everywhere, on the toilets, indoors, in corridors, and then you will be protected. You will be out of this danger, because you know that if something happens, it is observed. But I think that it's a hell. It's like being an animal in the cage. It's a horrible situation. So another answer, which is fantastically radical, utopian. This is the idea of indirect provision, papers for everybody, and so on and so on. But we know that it won't happen. At least it won't happen tomorrow. But there are still these people who are there. And I think that the solution, and it's absolutely manageable, is to fight for the separate direct provision for LGBT people. It doesn't even mean the separate costs of the state. It's just reorganize the people somehow and find a place for those who are claiming for international protection on the basis of those sexual orientation and gender identity. That's it. It doesn't mean anything else. It's just a question of management. It's just a question of the goodwill and of understanding of these particular needs. Because if the Irish LGBT, or LGBT in Dublin, better say, have the safe places like Outhouse, why there is no a safe place for LGBT asylum seekers, when it doesn't mean any additional cost? I think it's so transparent, so obvious. Yeah, obvious and easy idea. I know that there is one in Berlin. I know one Russian guy who is living there, and it was a big struggle of German civil society for this. They were struggling like years, and now, if I'm not, this is not our friend, I think that is the only one, yes, by now in Europe. But there are some movements in Spain, in Sweden, in Finland to organize this. So I think as official organizations, you can ask the IPO, International Protection Office, how many people are claiming. At least we can get numbers, and after these numbers we can work on the idea of how to organize it and so on. And another problem, another issue is that there are a lot of LGBT asylum seekers who just completely alone. They don't know that they can't advocate for themselves because they don't speak English. They are afraid of white people because they consider them like arrogant or selfish, or that they don't care really. They just smiling and then they don't do anything. All these prejudices, all these stereotypes are working both ways. We can have some idea of what is Russia, or what is Ireland, what is Congo, or what is Brazil, so on and so forth. In reality, these people just need to be somehow organized across some activity or some physical space or metaphorical space. And this metaphorical space and this idea of bringing together at least those who are wanted to be involved. I call it, it's a working title, something from there, and this is again Ned, my friend, we were discussing it together at some point, this idea of the exhibition of an object that we brought from our home countries. This is the idea of, I realized already in Dublin, I realized that I brought a very old, not very old, it wasn't new, but it was, so we bought a new t-shirt, and then we went to Black Sea to spend in August. I didn't know that the year will be finishing, how it was finishing, but yeah, it was like a good time in the coast of the Black Sea, and I forgot this new t-shirt on the beach, and it lost the color because of the sun, you know, so it looks like very old. And then when I was leaving Russia, presumably forever, I took it, I think, in an absolutely unconscious way. I took it because it was the important memory. It was something from there that it has no, well, usually you take something that you can use because you can take a lot of things. Yeah, you take the most, your better wearing, and so on, your best wearing, so on. But there, I took this just because, and precisely because it was this. It was this Black Sea coast, it was this sun, it was, yeah, and I think that everybody brought something from there, brought something which is the happiness, materialized happiness of those past, because it's very scary to lose the past. It's very scary to find yourself without the possibility to access to your past. And that's precisely what Russian state was doing during all the history. They was exterminating the past. This is the idea of exterminate. Then you can build whatever. So now you need to exterminate the past. That's why all this idea of the homosexuality in Russia that had different epochs is not very welcoming in Russia, because they try to convince us that it's always was a homophobe traditional society, that Russians are always homophobes and so on, which is not true. I grew up in 90s. I had a lot of sex in 90s. Same-sex relations. We were happy, you know? So it's not, some of them are now married with children and are completely straight guys, but you know, still, it's cool.
We don't judge.
We don't, we are trying not to judge. We always judge, but still. So yes, I think that the idea of the LGBT nation, queer nation, it's very important for you and for us, because for you it's the continuing of the struggle. Because if the idea is to get this equal marriage, that's okay, you have it already. But if the idea is to construct a better world, to really feel proud of being gay, or lesbian, or bisexual, or transgender, or asexual, or intersex, then we need to continue. Then we can just say, okay, we arrived. So let's go further. Let's keep fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
My world that I want to have a little pride in. my world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say